Welcome back to our series on World War I and World War II. In the last episode, we saw how Europe was pulled into war by alliances, military strategies, and political miscalculations. But no one expected what came next, the brutal reality of trench warfare. This was not the quick war leaders had promised. Instead, soldiers found themselves trapped in muddy, disease-ridden trenches, fighting a war of attrition where gaining just a few yards could cost thousands of lives. The birth of trench warfare. By late 1914, after Germany's advance into France was stopped at the First Battle of the Marne, both sides dug into defensive positions. This led to the creation of the Western Front, a 475-mile-long stretch of trenches from the North Sea to Switzerland. For the next 4 years, this front barely moved. Life in the trenches. Life in the trenches was hell on earth. Soldiers endured constant shelling that could bury them alive, mud, rats, and lice that spread disease. Trench foot, a painful condition caused by standing in waterlogged trenches for days. The smell of death, as bodies often lay unburied in no man's land. Food was scarce, morale was low, and sleep was a luxury. The nightmare of no man's land. Between enemy trenches lay no man's land, a barren wasteland of barbed wire, craters, and corpses. Attacking meant climbing over the top, running through machine gun fire, and hoping to survive long enough to reach the enemy lines. Most didn't. Massive offensives like the Battle of Verdun and the Battle of the Somme led to unimaginable slaughter. In just one day at the Somme, British forces suffered 60,000 casualties, the deadliest day in British military history. New weapons, more suffering. To break the stalemate, new and terrifying weapons were introduced. Poison gas, chlorine and mustard gas burned lungs and blinded soldiers. Flamethrowers, used to clear out enemy trenches with deadly fire. Tanks, first used in battle, but unreliable and slow. None of these ended trench warfare. Instead, they only made the war more horrifying. The psychological toll, endless artillery bombardments, and the trauma of battle led to shell shock, now recognized as PTSD. Some soldiers were left shaking, unable to function. Many were executed for cowardice, even though they were suffering from severe mental trauma. This was not the heroic war men had signed up for. This was a meat grinder where millions were sacrificed for almost no territorial gain. By 1917, after 3 years of bloodshed, soldiers were losing faith in their commanders. The question was no longer who would win, but how much longer could this last? Could you have survived in the trenches? What do you think was the most brutal part of trench warfare? Let us know in the comments. And if you're following this journey through history, don't forget to like and subscribe so you don't miss the next episode, where we'll explore the major battles that shaped the war. Thanks for watching.